G'day guys, my name's Josh. You can call me Woodle, and welcome back once again to 7 Days to Die Alpha 17, back in Woodle Park in the world of building and testing. And sometimes I just stop and look around and look at all the things I've built. I say this every couple episodes and just kind of marvel at just how much stuff I've crammed into this one world, and also marvel at the fact that the world hasn't completely imploded yet. It's slowly dying, but it's so far so good. But just to make the world strain just that little bit harder for it, just to make it die just that little bit more, I am back to build another base, and it is for 17.2 with their new pathfinding, because as we found out in the paperclip base over here, I mean, it doesn't look like a paperclip base anymore, but if you don't understand that reference, go watch the video, you'll understand in no time. But basically, with their new pathfinding, when they get too close to you on a horizontal plane, I think I figured out, they will just be like, fuck your path, I'm gonna come straight through the wall and punch you in the face with my big zombified dick. And that is a bad time if you're like me and you like surviving. So I've decided that I'm gonna make a new kind of base that I haven't really made before. It's going to incorporate a couple of different things, a couple of different theories I have rattling around inside my head, which is unusual because there's usually not a lot going on up here, as you can probably clearly tell. So I want to make something like a combined like maze elevated base, but also like it will work for like defense, like because you have to do active defense in this game now. You can't just rely on traps and spikes and turrets, all that kind of stuff, because you're wasting XP, and also it just generally won't work once you pass the first couple of horde nights. So I need to make an active defense raised maze base. That's my goal, because that should hopefully circumvent the problem with them being like, oh, I'm going to break down your wall, because they can't actually reach me. They have to take the path because they can't get to me. That's what I'm going to build. That's what I'm going to test, and I'm going to do it for the first time in a long time outside the actual walls of Woodle Park. I've built over there where those trees are, and on the mountain, all that kind of stuff. Out there, out in the distance. I still consider that part of Woodle Park. It's like the suburbs of Woodle Park. But out here is on the other side of the wall for the racetrack. This is like the ghetto. This is like the outback. Look, the sand's even red. I'm all the way out in the sticks. I'm expecting to see a kangaroo gallop by riding a freaking emu. So I've got a nice piece of cleared flat ground out here, so let's try and figure out how this is going to work. I'm thinking just like a central kind of like pillar, kind of like the melee base, or melee base, however you want to pronounce it. I say melee, that's what I'm going to go with. Kind of like the melee base where you've got like the interior column going up. Made that one out of flagstone. Making this one out of stainless steel. Now this is something that people ask me about quite a lot. They're like, why do you use stainless steel when A, it's not in the vanilla game anymore, and B, like no one's like building for, like with stainless steel or anything like that good for the first horde night. That's because I'm testing the idea. I'm testing just to make sure that like the theory, the pathfinding, that kind of stuff works. You can build this out of freaking wood for all I care. The theory works the same regardless of material. The only time that material actually matters is for things like the paperclip base, where they have to decide, are they going to come through the wall or are they going to run around? It's all about a time thing. So like in that instance, yes, stainless steel matters. But for this, if you have a path for them to follow, the material you make that path out of isn't going to matter. So you can build it out whatever the frick you like. Just do whatever makes you happy, really. But that's why I use stainless, because I can't accidentally upgrade it with a nail gun when I'm repairing things later on. And also, if my idea fails and the zombies start beating on shit, they don't destroy the entire base in a heartbeat because I can't kill them quick enough. So those are the two main reasons that I use it. Plus, it's really easy for me to get. Look, I go ST, ST, and here's all of my blocks. I don't have to go searching for freaking flagstone ramp and typing in 18 different characters when I can just type in 5 and be done with it. So for the actual maze part, I'm going to make a W to go kind of out, around, and out and down and back in. I kind of do like a big like zigzag on the outside, kind of like a zipper. So I've made the platform where I'm going to stand a little bit wider, and then right in the middle, we're going to backtrack just a little bit. Let's get the right line, just along here and go to like maybe there. Now this is going to depend on what I was saying before about like the materials I use. This is going to depend on what material you're using. This is the part, like this and the structure here is where you want to use the strongest material you possibly can. With all the like the new blue bags and stuff you find in POIs and like the different things you can dig up on crates and things in garages, you can get cobblestone and concrete very, very quickly now. So if you have concrete, make these towers here and the base of that concrete. Make that as strong as you possibly can, because they are going to be where the zombies can actually touch you. But the rest of this doesn't need to be nearly as strong. So where, actually, let's kind of figure this out. Where is the best place for this? It's going to go around the outside, just like that, all the way to there. No, there we go, and like this, and like that. Okay, so that's going to be the general layout of the maze on the outside, which means I've put that pillar in exactly the wrong place. Not great by me. I should have thought that through. Come on, Josh, get it together. So you can see it already starting to kind of take shape. So if, say they start here, they run around and around and around, zigzagging back and forth, giving you plenty of time and plenty of straight angles to try and shoot the lead zombies, the one who are closest to you. Then they get to here, they go around the corner just to, you know, get around there. I probably could have like continued the swirlies. In fact, maybe I could. Hang on, let's try and figure this out. So this would be flat, they'd go back up out here, and then turn back, and I'd come back in here. Nah, see, I can't. No, but nah, you can't do that because I had to throw off my symmetricality. Everything so far is nice and symmetrical, and I don't want to throw that off. So I'm going to go around here and back this way. Got to make sure you put the support down when you get to the appropriate block, because otherwise everything will fall in, and we keep continuing the maze all around just like this. Easy as you like. I mean, look, it's time consuming to build and it takes a lot of materials, but I think this should work. This should be one of the easier bases you'll ever make. So when it gets to the end here, you could give them just like a proper, like actual honest to goodness way into your base. I don't know, it depends how you want to play it. Me, I don't really do that. If you wanted to make this the entrance way, like, you know, a bridge across here and a door, so that's how you get in and out of your base, you're welcome to that. I don't really build bases, build entryways on my bases, rather, mostly because I leave it up for you. I don't want to tell you exactly how to do things. You can figure out your own your own entryway, whatever you want to do. You can make it to your taste. You can build like a hatch evader, or, you know, just fucking build a ramp, or, you know, a nerd pole, whatever you want to do, you, make yourself happy. But for me, I don't want to give them anyway, because I'm a shit shot. If you watch any of my like videos where I try and shoot shit in, I'm an awful shot. So I can't rely on myself to actually kill them before they get here. So instead, I'm going to go back to the classic Jawoodle hatch bridge, which is pretty simple. I mean, I built a lot of them in my time, but I do get a lot of questions from people saying like, hey, it's not working for me. What's going on? Like, why aren't they falling through the hatches? Why did I just type watch? I'm not even sure what I'm doing there. They're not going to fall through hatches. Why isn't it working for me? So I'm going to quickly run through how the hatch drawbridge works again, in case you guys are wondering. And the thing that everyone seems to forget that you need is the wedges. The wedges go underneath, and they, no, that's the wrong block, this one here. They go underneath, and they go just like, not like that, the other way. So that the thinnest part is right at the top. Boom, just like that. And on the other side, you do the same again. So we get one of these ones, and we go one of these ones, and we go boom, just like this. So that is the important thing. You can use poles, you can use plates, you can use whatever on the underside, or half blocks. Half blocks are the best, and wedge tips are the best, because that is what the zombies are actually thinking is the path. The hatches are just superfluous. They go on top as a way for you to get in and out of. They give you a drawbridge. That's not what's fooling the zombies. It's the things that are underneath. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like this. That should open the wrong way. Congratulations, Josh, you muppet. Try and get to face the right way this time. Like that, and like that. There we go. Perfect. So they run along, and the hatches, yeah, are just for you to get in and out of your base later if you want to do that. It's the wedge tips underneath that actually fool them. So they come across there, fall down, and then because I'm a big fan of symmetricality, as you guys probably know at this point, over here is where I'm going to build their entryway back up to the maze again. So just like that, and there, and just all the way down to the ground. I mean, it's pretty simple. You should be able to figure out what's going on. So they come over here, they fall through the wedge tip hatch drawbridge, come here, and they're like, oh my god, how am I going to do this? Run back up the ramp and start their whole route again. That's how it should work. That's how I hope it's going to work. I don't know how successful I'm going to be until I try it with a couple of Arlenes. Just for an added layer of protection, I've put some bars around the outside of my center platform, because if they're like right here and I'm standing too close to the edge trying to shoot them, they will just jump over and punch me in the face, and I don't really want that. So I put up some bars. They may still jump. I mean, just like the original Blender over here, which relied on them getting close enough to the bars. I mean, it's not loading because I'm not actually in my body right now, but the original Blender that I built, I stood in an iron bar cage, and they thought they could get to me, so they jumped at me and they fell into the blender. That was how that whole thing worked. works. So if that happens now, not the worst thing in the world, because that means then they're just not a threat anymore. They go back to the start. But that's okay. We want to try to avoid that happening. But right now, we just need to get some Arlenes out here. Miss Arlene, if you please, would you please come and test out my brand new base? Let's get rid of that. And boom. Okay, here we go. What is going to happen? Are they going to run the whole measure, or are they going to get stuck on the first ramp and start beating on shit? No, there's a big group of them. One's taking a swing. Okay, so far so good. They haven't stopped to beating anything. They're just running. They're running the whole circuit. This is going perfectly. Look, it was like playing Snake on an old Nokia. They're all following each other. They're all like holding onto each other's assholes. And just like a finger in, hooked on, getting dragged along. That's fucking gross. Why did they give you that visual? I don't know. So they're going to go the whole way around. So if you were here and you were a better shot than I am, you could just pick them off at will. But the important part is going to be at the very, very end. Are they going to come and jump the gap? Like, have they got smarter with their jumping? Or are they going to see the wedge tip drawbridge and be like, yeah, nah, and fall down and go away? Straight down. See, what did I tell you? It's not the hatches that do the trick. It's the blocks underneath. They're setting on top of each other. Okay, so I need to start thinking. Oh, hey. Okay, so there you go. That was brought in for 17.1. That's the destroy everything mode when they experience a fall, which is why I was saying before, if you remember, to build these blocks here and the pillars underneath here out of your strongest materials, because that are the only ones that the zombies can do any damage to. Oh, they've lost interest. There we go. Start them up again. Sometimes you just got to get them to aggro to you again. Sometimes they just forget about you. They get distracted by something shiny or a rabbit and just go chasing after that instead of trying to actually eat you, which is kind of nice. So yeah, that actually worked an absolute charm. You could put on some extra rungs. I mean, you got to make sure it has symmetricality. Doesn't have symmetricality, it is not a bona fide brutal base. So you could add some extra loops to each side of this to make as many as you want. But the idea itself, the theory, works like a fucking charm. Look, whoop, straight down. In fact, if I was going to make this again, I would make it higher so that when they do fall, they don't stand on each other's heads and it can possibly jump up and continue to murder you against your own will. You know, this one may actually be a record for me. I didn't have any hiccups in this build whatsoever. Nothing collapsed. The theory worked the first time. The AI pathfinding worked the first time. Everything went absolutely smoothly, which is very unusual. Normally a build like this would take me like an hour and a half at minimum, but this one's only taken me like half an hour. I'm actually honestly surprised, but I'm not done quite yet. I need to do some painting because everything I ever do has to be painted. You can't cheap out on aesthetics. Aesthetics and symmetricality, the hallmarks of all of my bases, need to be on this one as well. And I feel like a nice rich red death trail on the outside, so you can't see the blood sputter. You know, if you're going to be doing something dirty, if you're going to go out in the mud, you want to wear brown or dark colors. You don't wear a white shirt to a footy match for the same reason you don't paint the death trail that's going to be covered in zombie blood for its entire existence. You don't paint that like a nice green or anything else because the blood's going to stain it and it's going to look awful. You paint it red to start with, you won't notice the red afterwards. There's nothing much really to add to this. This works perfectly as is. I mean, just as a basic design, this would work perfectly. If you wanted to actually, I mean, the difference between this and a lot of other bases I make is you could totally have like an actual, rather than this being just like a horde night base, someone to stand and defend and try and survive, you could actually make like your proper honest to goodness base inside here with your forges and your workbenches and your bed, all that kind of stuff. Make a tower. The higher you go, the safer you are. That, I mean, that's what I would be doing. This, I'm so surprised at how well this worked. I would honestly move into this. Who needs to have, you know, like a trader base or anything else going on when you can just have this thing, make it simple, make it easy, and then when you do have to face a horde, you're not going to get caught out, someone have to go to your horde base. You just stand here and you'll be fine. Oh, I need to fix up that paint. You know, like that. Can't have anything painted outside of the ordinary, but what I am going to do is now, because this worked so bloody well, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to make myself a little roof because, you know, the vultures are going to come and I want to make sure that I'm safe from them. So I'm going to make myself a nice little cottage on top of my little like spaghetti maze thing on the outside. It reminds me of spaghetti for some reason. Probably should have painted it yellow. Oh, well, it doesn't matter now. It's red spaghetti. It's red fettuccine and it's all that color. I talked about that. You know, I'm getting hungry now. I'm thinking of spaghetti. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm so freaking hungry. Look at that. That has fast become one of my favorite bases. I mean, I'll never not love the pool of death with the screamer XP grinder attachment. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorites. But this one, it just looks nice. You know, it's got this nice little like the little cage up top, the safety cage. It looks good. It looks like a little hut. It's effective. It does the job. You get the XP. You could probably get the loot if you're pretty good at it too. If you can pick your time to run out there and get it, especially if you're killing them over here. Like if you get a nice gap, you can run out here, grab the loot, and go back inside. This base is actually terrific. I would be using this. If I wasn't so far into this game already, I would absolutely use a base like this as like my Horde Night base, because you could use, I mean, you could build a tower on top and make that your actual home, and then just have like the spaghetti trail on the outside as a way to defend against the zombies. This is perfect. I love this, and it was an easy build. It's so much easier than I was expecting it to be, to the point where I'm actually done. It's probably gonna, I mean, I always say it's gonna be a shorter episode, but I talk so much at this point, there's probably gonna still be like 15 minutes, which is usually what I kind of aim for, but it's a bit shorter. I'm sorry about that. This was just such a good build. So easy to build that it's just a cut down on the time of what I had allotted to actually record it. So I will have to leave this fantastic base here and come back and build some other cool shit in another episode of 7 Days to Die, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked, smash the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter, but don't talk to you there first. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.